life for big men. He would have been really loving all of this, and I'm sure he is. Be his favorite thing, being the center of attention, and being a reason to bring all the comrades together. So I want to thank you all for coming, first of all, and expressing your love for all of us.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is very, very overwhelming. Because this part of my dad's life, I didn't know too much. He was very overprotective. I didn't come to the 80s, but he started educating me in my early 20s. And I still didn't know to what extent of how important he was until, I think, the 35th anniversary. And people come to me, how do you feel about big man, your dad? All I can say was that he was my dad. He was my dad, and he made sure that his presence was known. He never missed a graduation, family trips, road trips. My appreciation for jazz came from him, and I'm just proud, very, very proud to be his daughter. I also have 2 sons who, my God, look just like him. Because this picture over here, I've never seen, ever. Looks just like my oldest. And I'm sorry they couldn't be here, but they're here in spirit.
To this day, there's controversy. Some Japanese people studied up on our trip and they said, no, you guys got it wrong. But we didn't know. So it took us a couple of days and we got affiliated with the film crew who had relationships with everybody, with all of the left and progressive movements in Japan. So we had a chance to really get around and to visit lots of groups. The Koreans in Japan were discriminated against. The second and third sons of farmers were disinherited, became day laborers in Tokyo. We visited, there'd be a bunch of old women on American air bases, stopping them from using the air base to protest American imperialism. So there was all kinds of stuff going on at that time. What we had not realized was our tickets were one way. I don't know, Bobby, I'm not putting that on you. I don't know how it happened. But our tickets were one way. We were invited by some group called the Zengakuren. As far as I understand, that means student movement. I'm going to invite you. Oh, no, Japanese, I hope not. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So then we have to start giving interviews and charging magazines and stuff to earn our way back. So as I recollect, we were supposed to be there a couple of weeks, but we were there 5 weeks because we were earning our way back. So that was all, that's kind of interesting stuff. The most amazing thing that happened to us was the one thing, the left in Japan at that time, progressive folks, they were fighting one another. They had different ideas about everything. It was not a pretty situation. But the one thing that everybody agreed on was that it was wrong to build a new international airport in a new spot just outside of Tokyo. One, it was wrong because it would displace a whole bunch of peasant farmers. It was very rich land, and it was wrong because there were American airstrips all over the country that could have been used for that purpose. So everybody agreed on this, amazingly enough. So the largest group that we ever spoke to was a demonstration of about 200,000 people. Yeah. So we give our talk, and then we're led to the sidelines when the demonstration is going to take place. Now, listen to this. A demonstration in Japan, at least at that time, was not like a demonstration in the United States. Different people had a different role. So the young people, they linked arms, and they ran. They would run the whole time, maybe a 5-mile run or whatever it was. Then other people, would walk, and then other people would do different things. And they very often got into fights with the police because the police came with their not sticks, thank you, and would be beating heads and stuff. And so, oh, I'm going over my time. So let me tell you what they did. They'd have some people who would be wearing helmets to be ready for getting beat up or to fight back. And then the police would come running in and they would have a net over them to protect them from the rocks. Well, the old folks' job, and this is what they really did, they collect human feces. And they would be at a certain spot and they would throw it at the police. It would go through the net and the police went running. We saw this. Big Man and I saw this. Now, I don't recommend that we do that on our demonstration, but it was a very effective tactic. So that's something to think about. I'm almost done. 3 years ago, Big Man came to San Diego. He was sponsored by Pillars of the Community to come down. He spent about a week with us, with his wife, Carol, who you've already met, who was his right-hand person for the last couple of decades of his life. And already, as of today, the finishing touches are being put on a mural on the Pillars of the Community office in Southeast San Diego. So thank you, Pillars of the Community. Finally, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm almost done. You're very kind. Finally, Big Man, we called him Big Man because he was big in stature, but he was big in his heart, his soul, and his commitment to the fight for justice in our communities and in the world. And we will always remember him for that. His last words to the young activists in San Diego were, organize. Thank you, Big Man. Thank you.
All right. There's many comrades here, party members, community workers.
For me, at that time in my life, I don't remember how old I was. Maybe I was 21 or 22, but the charges against Bobby Seale and I had just been dropped.
Oh, that's good.
Where's Carol? She knows this story. And the courtroom was in chaos because that trial was one of the most heinous trials in American history. And so when the charges against Bobby and I were dropped, I was released to walk outside into the sun like that out there, that I never got to see. And there was Big Man at the door. And he never postured about how big he was, and how powerful he was, or how much of a man he was. He was just Big Man. And when I looked at him, something in me was sparked. Because I knew by looking into his eyes, I didn't know him really well then, that he was gentle and kind. Did you know that?
That's right. Yeah. He was a sweetheart.
That was your daddy.
He was a sweetheart.
And he reached under my elbow and held me as we walked out into utter chaos. It was good chaos. It was all people who were so happy that Bobby and I had been relieved of that. But what you need to know is that Bobby didn't walk out that day. He was remanded to Chicago, where he stood yet another infamous, horrible trial, where he was bound and gagged. So it was mixed feelings that I walked out of that door that day with. And Big Man just walked me through the crowd. He didn't glare at anybody. He didn't ask anybody to move out the way. But you know, the crowd parted for Big Man. And I was just aware of being so protected, so held, so loved. How is it that love works in people that don't even know each other? It's because it's bigger than our little minds and the shallowness of our thinking. I have never, ever, ever forgotten that day. And so as a result of that day, although Big Man and I did not see each other often, being both born in January, we would email, "Hey Big Man, happy birthday." Happy birthday, Big Man, I'm saying right now. I'm so glad you were born. I'm so glad you walked on this planet at the same time I did. The only other thing that I want to say is that when you're feeling really proud and you're posturing and you feel that it's important for you to acknowledge how much of a man or a woman you are, just remember Big Man. He was big, as someone said, because of his heart. And that's what I want to remember. I want to be that way in my life. Don't you? Yeah. Thank you.
And one hell of a poet, and here he is.
First, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the 28 Panther warriors who were murdered by the fascists in this country. We also would like to have a moment of silence for the legendary Big Man. Believe it or not, I talked to Big Man this morning. He wanted me to tell you something. He wanted me to tell you that there's something rotten in the White House. He wanted me to tell you that the White House is full of Trump and he's stinking up the world. He wanted to tell me that in 2020, we're going to flush that shit down into the sewer again. He wanted everyone to say these words. Flush that shit down in the sewer again. He told me that he wanted everyone to say this. To hell with the fool in chief. Everyone. To hell with the fool in chief. To hell with the liar in chief. To hell with the thief in chief. To hell with the molester in chief. To hell with the racists in chief. In 2020, the American people will send the fool back to hell where he belongs. The American people will have the last laugh at the clown in chief. You know, Big Man would not want us to be crying over him. He would not want us to feel sorry. He would want us to celebrate his life. He would tell us, don't cry for me. And I have a poem which I'm going to read for Big Man. It's called Weep Not For Me. Weep not for me. If I die, let me go swiftly through the night. Let there be no wailing at the gates. Let there be no gnashing of teeth. Let there be no weeping of hearts. Weep not for me. I have fought the good life. Weep for yourself. You who refuse to fight. Weep for yourself. You have died before you were born. Let the fools who have wasted their lives weep for themselves. I've lived my life to the fullest. Weep not for me. Don't cry over my death. Cry over your life. Cry over your refusal to live. Weep not for big man, but weep for yourself. If I die, let me go swiftly through the night. Let there be no wailing at the gates. Let there be no gnashing of teeth. Let there be no weeping of hearts. Everyone, let there be no weeping of hearts. I wrote a eulogy for Big Man. Do I have time to read it? Like George Jackson, Fred Hampton, Doc Satchel, Tarika Lewis, Kathleen Cleaver, Bobby Seale, and Erica Hovitz, Big Man was a real Panther. He was not a gangster Panther, crazy Panther, or paper Panther. He spent his entire adult life serving the needs of all people. He was Mr. Facets for the Black Panther Party, organizing his first newspaper, and going to Connecticut to organize support for the imprisoned Bobby Seale. He ran a program at the Old Merritt College to help ex-cons get into college. When Bobby wanted anything done on party business, he would send Big Man. Big Man worked on creating the international section of the Black Panther Party and became its international spokesperson. He even went to Japan on party business with Roberta Alexander. The FBI followed him daily. Many years later, while he was a manager at Kmart, Tennessee, they gave him his FBI files. I first met Big Man in 1970 when I started working with the Black Panther Party. Ironically, the FBI knew I was working with the Black Panther Party before most of the Black Panther Party members knew. Big Man used to tell me he would go to Berkeley if he wanted some joy in his life. I now realize he was going to visit the great love of his life, the angel in his life who kept him alive, Carol Hines. Big Man was very impressive, even among Panthers. He always stood out. He was one of the leaders who is still admired by the rank and file Panthers. In 1974, Big Man and I both left the party. Many years later, in June of 2004, I hooked up with Big Man in Memphis, Tennessee, a town 30 miles from the shack that I was born in Coldwater, Mississippi. Big Man was very involved in the local African-American community, trying to make Memphis a better place for all. He even arranged for me to be interviewed by the local African-American newspaper in Memphis. He also introduced me to a great soul restaurant that I visit whenever I am in Memphis. In 2005, a year later, Big Man relocated to California. Big Man loved his wife, Carol Hyman's daughter, grandsons, a stepdaughter, and his large family of cousins. But most of all, he loved his comrades who fought to make this a better world for all. As we celebrate Big Man's life, let the thunder roll out, let the sky fall down, let the earth shake, for a good man has died. Big Man's spirit will live as long as one of us carries on the fight for health care for all, for good education for all, and the end of racism and impurity. Big Man's spirit will survive as long as we continue to serve all the people. Long live the fighting spirit of Big Man. Power will rest in his legend. As long as the struggle continues, his spirit will not rest. Power will rest in his legend. As long as the struggle continues, the spirit will not rest. I called Big Man the dead black Spartan. The Spartans had a tradition. When they went to war, the mothers would tell their children, "I'd rather see you come back on your shield than leave your shield behind." Big Man never left his shield behind. And before I read this poem, The Dead Black Spartan, I'm going to read it. Scourge of the oppressor, wisest of all in council, untainted in spirit, sing out in the shrillest and sweetest sounds. Fidel, Cabral, amidst anarchy, walls, and doom, Brightest all of our hopes, our desires. Purest of all, stone-willed bastion. Never tempted by self nor wealth, to thee we bow. Lovers not, yet comrades in battle. Nevermore shall we mourn thee. Let not death defeat us. Your heart shall pump within us, and through us you will triumph. Ever onward, black warrior, ever onward. Heed not death knocking at your door. 'Tis but an echo of tomorrow's journey. Spur thy great steed onward, across the dregs and over the mire. Sing out in the shrillest song, Spinsoramus, Patria Muerte. Ride on across the mystic forest into the fiery sea. Nevermore the gale permits us. Ride on with thy splendid steed. We shall not mourn thy passing. Death will not defeat us. Your heart shall pump with us, and through us you will triumph. Turn out the lamps and wail through the night. Weep, weep for thy shadow now gone. As bleeding sorrow drenches our bones to damn our spirit in that doomed box, so thy minions gather, woe-wrecked with groaning grief. Listen, perhaps they hear the echo of thy passing. Thundering hooves prancing through the suburbs. Misty riders shrouded in victory. Fools who forever mourn. Do they not know? Through their lives still you might yet live. Nevermore shall we mourn thee. Death shall not defeat us. Your heart shall pump within us, and through us you shall triumph. Hail to thee, Black Spartan. Cast your mold of fire rebellion. Forge the new man, molded in love, cast in iron, to crack the chains of tyranny. For you, friend of friends, life worth dying. Though dying, ride on, ride through the decay of those who fear to live. Rage furiously towards thy tragic end. Yes, comrade of comrades, embrace death with a kiss. Sparkling eyes now still weep a tear for us. Yes, weep for us who perish, for in death you triumph as in life. Your heart pumps with us and within our children unborn. Everybody, your heart pumps with us, you too, Bobby, and with our children unborn. Big Man was a warrior who never left his shield behind. Going into the battle in the spirit of crazy horse, he would always say, "This day is a good day to die." Long live the fighting spirit of Big Man.
An article for the newspaper, and he signed a Brother Dynamite. That was his pen name. When I think of Big Man, first thing that comes is power, love, beauty, passion, and his fighting spirit, and he was so gentle. He was all of that, but very gentle, I don't want to say he was soft-spoken, but I don't think I ever heard Big Man raise his voice. Have you?
Well, look at you.
So, he was, and in our hearts he still is, a true leader. A true leader you can respect, you can admire, you can understand. And that's why this place is full. And if we went to another city where people live in Big Man, it would be full also. I'm happy I just left Chattanooga. I have family in Chattanooga, and I was visiting my 85-year-old cousin who was in her last days in the hospital. And that's Big Man's Tennessee. He's from Tennessee. So I feel close to Big Man. And when I found he had Tennessee family, I have Tennessee family. And I'm just really honored to be here to help celebrate somebody who was a true leader. There's all kinds of leaders out there. They all don't lead you the right way. They all aren't that good. Particularly the kind in the White House. He ain't even a leader, he's a jerk. Among other things. But one of the things about our brother Big Man, he had a big heart. He had big ideas. He was extremely honest. He was devoted. And I would like to say he represented the soul of the Black Panther Party. We all love Big Man because of what a fine person, what a good man he was, and he was so good he had to have a good family. You don't come out like that. That's right. If you're not raised by good people, and the good people of Tennessee who are very church-going and honest and hardworking. So he was part of the core spirit, I would say, the core spirit of what the Black Panther Party was about. He was one of the 5 original Black Panthers. And I'll never forget this comment. I wasn't there. There was an anti-war conference in Montreal that the Panthers were invited to by the Vietnamese. And one of the Vietnamese, you know they're short, was standing up beside Big Man and grabbed it. He said, "I got power. I got power." I'm very touched to be able to come here, to be back in Oakland, to be in this park. I've been in Department Park in I don't know how many years. Pardon? Oh yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've been here many years. I live in Georgia. Sorry I missed it. It's Bobby Hutton Park. Fabulous. Well, we have to have something that's called Big Man, like a Big Man tree, or a Big Man monument, or a Big Man statue. How about that? A Big Man statue. That's the mission. Because if anybody represents the spirit of the Black Panther Party 100%, who is it?
Big Man.
Big Man. Big Man. Big Man, the Black Panther, father, comrade, writer, speaker, amazing human being. We love him. I am very honored to be able to be here to join you and to just say a few words about this amazingly, what's the right word? Comprehensive.
He's a soldier.
He's way more than a soldier. He was way more than a soldier. He was a writer. He was a dreamer. He was a lover. He was a parent. He was just a wonderful human being. He was what do you call that? A credit to his race. Power to the people.
I just want to say, I met Big Man early on. I came in the party about 3 or 4 months after its inception. And remember being at Bobby's house and how Big Man came over and they took that photograph, similar to the one of 5. The one I remember, he was late coming in. He got into the photograph. But also working on the paper. In the early days, I came on the first tabloid issue of the Black Panther Party paper. That's when I became involved with the Black Panther Newspaper. At that time, Brother Big Man was also doing some other stuff, so he was wearing another hat. And he didn't want to be acknowledged as Big Man in the paper, so his name became Brother Dynamite. As people used to ask, who is Brother Dynamite? They would love Brother Dynamite. Even the elders was looking at sometime working on the paper and the articles that the Big Man would bring in, and the elders would say, man, it's Brother Dynamite. I recall when he went to Japan, and we got the word back that when he went to Japan, those who were invited were fighting at the airport to see who was going to host him. There was 2 different groups of workers and stuff that were supposed to host him. I remember he went to Scandinavia. He went to various parts of the world, and he was the first one of the first to go around the country to organize and to see what was going on with setting up different chapters and branches of the Black Panther Party. Now, he was guided by love. He was genuinely guided by love, and that made him a revolutionary, a genuine revolutionary.
Panther Party. They tried. That's right. I ain't never forgot that. Power to the people. Thank you for being you. Okay, we have a message from Africa, from our friends there. My partner Gail is going to read the message from Sister Charlotte and Pete O'Neill in Tanzania. You know, Pete's still in exile over 40 years now.
Thank you. Salutes to Comrade Brother Big Man, to Sister Carol, and all of Comrade Brother Elbert Big Man Howard's comrades and friends We at the United African Alliance Community Center, UAACC, wish to express our heartfelt sadness at the passing of our comrade Big Man. We also express the fact that he will always be remembered, not only as one of the founding fathers of the Black Panther Party, but also for his sincere love for the people that he served for so many years as a community activist, long after the party had ceased to exist as an organization. Big Man's positive example and steadfastness for so many decades even flowed over into his jazz radio programs, where he promoted the empowerment that came from the artists that he played for his listeners' edification. He was a living monument of history and courage and wisdom, and he will never be forgotten. And the fact that he was actually a nice and respectful man was icing on the cake. May all who sorrow for him be lifted up by the good memories of being and working with our comrade Big Man. And may we all continue to honor him with our own good works in communities around the world. We salute our comrade Big Man and vow to continue to struggle until we are no longer able. La lucha continua, viva, much respect from Brother Pete O'Neill, Sister Charlotte, Mama C. O'Neill, and the whole UAACC family in Imbasani Village, Arusha, Tanzania.
And celebration of Albert Big Man Howard. Whereas Albert Howard Big Man was one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party for self-defense in the city of Oakland, co-founded the Black Student Union in the state of California, whereas he engaged in armed street patrols throughout Oakland neighborhoods to protect citizens of the Black community from police brutality. Whereas Albert's phenomenal public speaking and communications abilities awarded him abilities to be the national and international spokesperson for the Black Panther Party. Albert also was the editor of the Black Panther Party newspaper, whereas Elbert led the Free Bobby and Erica Huffman campaign in New Haven, which resulted in their release in 1971. Also, he was hired as a counselor and student advisor at Grove Street College, whereas in 1972-73, Big Man oversaw the campaign office for Bobby Seale for mayor of Oakland and North Oakland, and helped provide voter registrations for people who could not vote. Okay, whereas this proclamation on February 25th, 2018, in the city of Oakland is Albert Big Man Howard Day. Power to the people. Tarika. All right. I want to introduce this sister. She was like the first sister recruited into the Black Panther Party. She knocked on the door, said, I want to join, and I want a gun. Her legacy still is greater than the Black Panther Party. Her legacy is on this fence. As you walk there, you see her picture, her image there. You know, and if you live in the Bay Area and you got this week's issue of News and Review, there is a big picture of her in there. I don't know if you see that yet, but there's a big picture of you in the News and Review today. So, Tarika Lewis, Vanguard member of the Black Panther Party. Here you go.
Thank you, John.
She's an artist. An artist. Class with John Andy. Hi.
Much respect to the family. I love you. Comrades, come on up here now. Come on. Come on, comrades. I can't do this by myself. Come on, Erica. Emery, come on. Come on, Mr. Douglas. Come on, Mr. Party members, where are you? Come on up here. You know who you are. Come on. These are paper panthers. These are real panthers. Come on, Chief. These are real veterans. We talk about the struggle. These are the most courageous people on the planet Earth, right here. Oakland was ground zero. That round to ground zero. Come on up here. Come on, Sacramento. Come on up here. You gotta know what Big Man stood for. He wasn't running around calling everybody ants or bees, calling them out of their names. This was out of love and respect for the community, or why even do it in the first place?
Can you do me a favor and take a picture?
This is the legacy. These are the veterans who put their lives on the front line. Who
You
put
can't
their
do it.
lives, who put their careers on check, on hold to do this. Left everything behind to do this. Never leaving the front line. Not just showing up for a photo op. Huh? Every single day. Come on up here, brother.
It's
This was ground zero.
is it on?
Who we really should have been going after was the land grabbers. They destroyed our black downtown. They destroyed our community. They took the land. And who were they? The United Employees Union. They hired the fastest guns. They said by any means necessary, destroy these people, take their land, use eminent domain to take their businesses and their property. My grandfather and my dad had a boxing gym, 50 unions, 1940. There were 3,000 African American businesses on 7th Street alone. 3,000. Not just one, not just Estes or Peru or two people that you read about in history. 3,000. Y'all repeat this, 3,000. 3,000 African American owned businesses. Over 500 black homes. And I know I'm just skirting the top of this. What happened? Why was it even necessary for a Black Panther Party? Why my brothers and sisters had to put their lives on the line? What? Why do we have to put our lives on the line? Why do we have to get out there? That's why I met Big Man, right out there on the tennis court. We were marching. Not only saying why we were black and why we were doing this, that we were going to sacrifice our lives, being servants of the people, and stand with Jim and Bobby Seale for the love of our community, because we've seen people hiding behind a badge and in a uniform, calling themselves peace officers, and they went after us. They went after our children. They went after our land. They went after our property. This is a big thing they stood for. Okay, I'm gonna play a tribute.
Black Panther Party, I told Huey Newton that we were going to have a major national organization. What? I said, yeah, we're going to have a national organization, Huey. But we don't need no national. I said, that's what we're going to have. And I said, we're going to have multiple leadership. This all came at the War on Poverty office, where I was employed by the city government of Oakland, California, Department of Human Resources. In my office at the time, in case you didn't know that, I was working for the city government of Oakland when I founded the Black Panther Party. Now listen to me, brothers and sisters, because you're going to have to keep the history straight.
That's right. That's right.
Big man Elbert Howard, a week after we finished finalizing the 10-point platform and program of the Black Panther Party, and in my office I had little Bobby Hutton and others run off 1,000 copies of the 10-point platform and program in the War on Poverty office where I worked.
Wow.
We went up to Merritt College. Virgil Morrell, a friend of, and was a member of the party one time, but Virgil Morrell got us a room to have a meeting to introduce to students who was interested to our new organization, the Black Panther Party, 1 week after we finished the 10-point platform and program, October 1966. And one of the people who came up was Big Man Elbert Howard. We talked about 20-some-odd students. We passed out the 10-point platform and program to them and talked about the program and told people we was going to go out and patrol the police, what have you, and all this kind of stuff. And Big Man, as we finished the program, wanted to talk with us some more, and we did. And then he invited us to his house, to his home, 2 blocks from the North Oakland Neighborhood Service Center where I work for the city government of Oakland. And he had a little barbecue for us the weekend. And we talked about that program and the things we're going to do, and I talked about how we're going to organize political, electoral, community unity all over the country. See, what has come out too much is the image only of the fact that we had some guns. But people don't understand it until I tell it to them like I've told it to thousands and thousands. Big Man was the key person for me in that founding group of members. In that little picture you see that was taken inside of Big Man's house where he invited us for the barbecue. The fact that he was a writer, he was ex-military, as far as I was concerned, he was in a leadership position, but he's so busy, he couldn't come to all my sessions, etc. Big Man Elbert Howard was a profound and very consistent, dedicated political revolutionary in all the work and all the programs and everything. He was always the person that I could call on to get things done.